We just gonna go right into it. What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Sports Bar here at WTF Nation Radio. I am one half of this thing, the actual King Smith, and my man right here is the guy known as Coach. Coach, let the people know something.
What do you hear? What do you say? I got a great cold one for tonight, buddy. How the hell are you doing, man? I had a great weekend.
Hey man, my weekend was hot. I stayed chilled, however, and it was fan freaking tastic. And I am glad to be live on this Sunday night at 8 p.m. U.S. Eastern. It was rough trying to get this thing started on time, but we got here, baby. Let's get to rocking.
Let's do it, brother.
Hey
Hell
man,
yeah, let's do it, man.
I produced this show just for you, Coach, as I know that you are a huge wrestling fan, right? Right? I think that's fair to say. Was
Yeah.
okay. Was well tonight. Do I have a treat for you? I enjoyed last week's stream where we did the top 5 best fathers son sports impact, right? Where I
Gotcha.
gave
Yeah.
my top 5 and then we had some conversation about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, today I decided to do my top 5 favorite professional wrestling finishers. Now, I say professional wrestling. I believe a majority of these are going to come from like the WWE, but WWE, WWF. But I'm just going to broadly say professional wrestling because one is a general wrestling finisher that a plethora of people have used. That when these moves get executed, you know that the match is about to end. So, what do you think about that topic, Coach?
You know what? And we do go into this because some of these moves are a little bit more of glorified amateur wrestling moves that have been utilized, may not have a believability and functionality within amateur wrestling, but can be utilized in them and still be utilized for that. So I wonder how many that we have that will actually be utilized by amateur and Olympic wrestling versus what's being utilized on professional wrestling, because there ain't no way in hell anybody's gonna hit the tombstone on a damn wrestling mat. There ain't no way in hell that daggone DDT is gonna get hit. But if the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be locks a sharpshooter in on you, and you get that on a wrestling mat, yeah, you're going to tap.
Well, I'm curious if any of those 3 moves that you listed are going to make my top 5. Maybe
I
not.
can see, I can see the pile driver. I have a feeling the DDT, which Jake the Snake Roberts made, was the ultimate one, but now it's just like a regular move. But I can tell you that maybe if the sharpshooter's in there, I will tell you, man, if you have more submissions in there, then you've got some legitimacy. If you have more regular power moves aside from the Stone Cold Stunner and the Rock Bottom, then we might have a little bit of a thing. All right.
Ooh, this is gonna be good. I'm so glad that you said that. Oh man, this is fantastic. So for those of y'all that are new to the sports bar here at WTF Nation Radio, this is the live stream in which Coach and I, both 2 U.S. military veterans, come on and we shoot the shit with y'all about all things sports related and sometimes life. We are live every Sunday at 8 p.m. U.S. Eastern. But we are not the only shows here at WTF Nation Radio. And almost every day of the week, there are other shows that we have that get produced here at WTF Nation Radio. And Coach is going to cover all of them. Now, Coach, I have a delivery that's coming that I'm going to need to step away and get at some point. All right.
That is not a problem because everybody in our audience, we have a reprieve, and I got to bring it up for Friday because a big change to the schedule happened.
All right. I totally forgot. Yeah, we'll need to update our graphic. Now, I'm going to make you the main thing.
Gotcha, buddy.
If I am not
You got the picture. You want me to go find the picture and try to download it and put it up for everybody?
I've got the picture. I can put the picture up, but here's the thing: my delivery is not going to be here until around for like another 7 minutes, and you'll be
all good, buddy. I can
so.
go ahead and take
But,
everything out there. Let's just put the picture up, and I got you, buddy. I can easily get a good 10 minutes right now because I need to talk about one topic. That are we going to speak about, Mr. Say Hey, Say Who, Say Willie?
oh yeah,
Let me go ahead and
we
take
can.
care of that. Let me go
All
ahead
right,
and take care of that, buddy.
you
You
have the
go
floor.
out, throw me up on there. And ladies and gentlemen, as you all know, we come to you live 6 to 7 nights a week on U.S Army WTF Moments and WTF Nation Radio. That is across Facebook, YouTube, X, and Kick. And ladies and gentlemen, as I stated, we come to you live 6 nights a week. We kick off the week with us on the sports bar on Sunday. Now, I want to let you all know real fast about next week's show. Next week, we are running our first ever sports bar trivia contest. I have 20 slots open for the first ever sports bar trivia contest coming next Sunday. We'll love to have you all participate on it, and you can participate on your own phones and on in the chats. Well, in the chats, you won't be keeping score, but we can go ahead and get some help out from there. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us up to the remainder of the week. And on Monday, we have the Monday edition with Ice. And Ice is going to be bringing to you what's hot and heavy, the rumors, everything happening within the government, taking care of stuff with the veterans and the military as a whole. Always on the Monday edition. Definitely want to check him out. On Tuesday, Pop Culture Radio is back, and he is going to have, who the hell do you have on this week, CQ? Let me go back into that channel, double check that again. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, Ice will have Marshall Terran on the show for what's it called for that week. I don't have any graphics or anything else like that, but it will be okay. But anyway, coming back to CQ on Tuesdays, yes, you'd want to check him out on Pop Culture Radio, and definitely want to see what he's got happening. You know, big things are happening during the summer. Freaking, I can't believe that Inside Out 2 has made another 100 million, and it looks like that's going to be the good movie of the year. So, you know, that's great that that's happened. But let's see Q talk about it, or we'll be talking about some boring Marvel crap as usual. Anyway, oh, wait a minute. No, I take that back. You got CQ is actually going to be doing some giveaways on a show, so you guys definitely want to be tuning into Pop Culture Warrior on Tuesday, because that's going to be happening, I believe, starting on Wednesday. On this Tuesday, it will be starting the giveaways with the partner organization we got up there. Now, on Wednesdays, the Smoke Pit is back with Radar and TeeZee, the 2-hour smoke break from our midweek as we talk about whatever is on our minds, whatever is happening, and it doesn't matter because we're all here, community, and getting a good time together on Wednesday with the Smoke Pit. Now, on Thursday, we have Ice is back. Ice will be back with Sergeant's Time, dealing with all the leadership issues from the United States military, the veteran services, and anything that is happening that affects all of us military leaders, whether you're continuing serving or whether you're still doing some type of leadership while you are out. Definitely want to check out Ice on Sergeant's Time. Now, ladies and gentlemen, last week we announced that this past Friday would be the last edition with Cause for Friday Night Freedom. As many of you already are aware, Kaz has shitty computers, and his shitty computer and his shitty internet precluded him from being able to host his final show on Friday. So instead of having a show last week and not saying bye to everybody, well, Kaz will be back this Friday for his go home show, and he will be right there for everybody up on Friday on U.S Army WTF Nation Radio and U.S Army WTF Moments. And now also real fast because it's not on here. Saturday, we have our co-op with Grunt Gaming Networks. Am I correct on that one, King? Because I hear you in the background. What's the place that Nemo's doing with Saturday? I think it is Grunt Gaming Networks, but we have our weekend co-op over there, our live stream. You want to definitely check that out. Again, we broadcast 6 to 7 nights a week on U.S Army W.T.F Nation Radio and U.S Army WTF moments across Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, now called X, and Kick. And King, unless you are back right now, which I can't see if you are, I am now going to share something so that this way you guys are there. Can you see what I'm sharing right now, ladies and gentlemen? Hey, Iowa watching. Tim, how you doing, my friend? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I also do want to remind everybody that earlier this week, the sporting world lost an absolute true legend in the one, the only Mr. Willie Mays. So for those of you that don't know who Willie Mays is, great baseball player who played for the New York and San Francisco Giants as well as the New York Mets during his 20-plus year career. At the end of his career, he retired with over 3,100 hits, 660 home runs, made 24 all-star teams, and made more all-star games than he did actual seasons played. That's how great of a player he was. In 1951, that man was on deck when Bobby Thompson hit the shot heard round the world. Right, and that was when the Giants beat the Dodgers in the 1951 one-game NLCS, and then lost to the beloved Yankees, my beloved Yankees, in a 1951 World Series. Well, 1952 came down. In 1952, Willie Mays was drafted in the Army, and he was stationed at Fort Eustis, Virginia, from 1952 to 1954. And just before he was discharged, and while he was there at Fort Eustis, he did one thing. He entertained the troops, he played baseball, and he did some admin work. Okay, great, but that's what happens, and that's what happened with the pro sports. Some of them. Ted Williams will talk about him later, especially his time in Korea. But as Willie Mays came back to the Giants in 1954, he electrified the world of Major League Baseball, brought the Giants up to the World Series, and now in 1954, Willie Mays had the greatest catch in Major League Baseball history, simply known as the catch. A drive in the 500 to nearly 600-foot center field of the Polo Grounds was hit. With a runner on second, Willie Mays sprinted forward and then wrist judged the ball. Out of every other stadium that was in Major League Baseball, that ball would have been out of the park. But Willie Mays went almost 500 feet away from home plate, caught the ball over his head at a dead sprint right before it cleared the nearly 550 center foot wall, turned around and threw a missile back at second base. That is the catch. The catch was the greatest catch ever done, and then the throw home. Nobody remembers this, but he's 550 feet away from home base, which is approximately 121 feet minus 500, approximately 350 to 400 feet away from where the second baseman was going to be at. He turned around within 1 second, threw a line drive right to the second baseman, barely making the ball after the runner had came back. The runner was already around third and waiting to score because nobody had thought that Willie Mays would have been able to catch that ball. Well, he did. Here is the catch, the greatest catch ever. And look here, and the throw. The throw doesn't ever get mentioned, but that throw was by far the best throw ever. And that catch over the head, you can see. Yes, look how far that is going back, going way back. one of the, like I said, the best catch ever. In 1954, Willie Mays brought the team to the World Series. After bringing the team to the World Series, they won. 1955, he would never be able to get back into the playoffs again. And in 1955, the Dodgers took better of the Giants, defeated them in the NLCS, or defeated them to meet the Yankees in the 55 World Series, and won their only Brooklyn Dodger World Series championship. In 1957, the San Francisco Giants and the Brooklyn Dodgers moved to California, where Willie Mays did not feel welcome within San Francisco until the city adopted him. And in the 1960s, the city absolutely loved Willie Mays, Willie McCovey, one of the Alou brothers, can't remember which one it was, but that team had a great teams out there in San Francisco when Willie Mays hit more home runs in 1960 than any other Major League Baseball player. Towards the end of his career, to bring him back and to help him during a pennant push, the New York Mets actually traded for him. And when Willie Mays was not himself, it was towards the end of his career. And when the Mets did make the playoffs, Willie batted .118. Shortly after the next season, Willie Mays had retired, but not before the All-Star ballot came out. And a rare chance, on a year that he was not playing, Willie Mays was elected again to the All-Star team. Unbelievable stats. Surprisingly enough, Willie Mays was actually banned by Commissioner Buie Kuhn for being a greeter at Atlantic City Casino, along with Mickey Mantle. The suspension only lasted 1 year, and the next commissioner, Peter Ueberroth, went ahead and reinstated Willie Mays. Willie Mays was also inducted in the Hall of Fame in 1979. Surprisingly, not on his first ballot, but Baseball Hall of Famers are really stupid when it comes to that. And on top of that, too, he has the distinction of not only playing with Hall of Famers and around Hall of Famers, but his godson is considered the best steroid hitter of all time in Barry Lamar Bonds, because Willie and Bobby Bonds were also on that great San Francisco Giants team with Willie McCovey and Alou and all of them out there. But Willie Mays is best known as being the best five-tool player in Major League Baseball. He could run on the bases. He had unbelievable defense. He had a great arm. He could hit for average, and he could hit for power. The term five-tool baseball player was created because of Willie Mays. There are better hitters. There are better pitchers. But there was no better overall talent in the game than Willie Mays. Rest in peace, sir. You were one of the greatest.
Indeed. If you don't even watch baseball like that, but you know about the sport, then you know who Willie Mays is. Definitely a pioneer. He made it to the overtime years in age, which I tell people
93, man.
Yep, 93, man. I break off years of life by quarters. First quarter is born to 20, second quarter is 21 to 40, third quarter is 41 to basically every 20 years.
60.
Thank you. Fourth quarter, 61 to 80.
Yeah.
And any life that you get after 80 is overtime. And there are advances in science, right? We're starting to see people. I think people are living longer, healthier lives now with the miracles of modern science and things like that. But to be 94, growing up in the 90, I'm sorry, was it 93 or 94?
93.
To live to 93, born in Westfield, Alabama in 1931, and live to be 3 years is a testament to a pretty good life for him.
And, you know, here's the funny thing. So it just so happened that the day before his passing, they had recorded something and they had already taken care of it. The day that he had passed was the Major League exhibition game over there at the stadium with the Birmingham Black Barons.
Good.
Birmingham Black Barons was the team that Willie Mays played for and was signed to the New York Giants from. He was 16 years old when he started playing, and he was 18 signed by the New York Giants.
Nice.
Yep.
Man, may he rest in peace and may his family find solitude.
Hell yeah. Great, one of the greatest of all time.
All right, so we're going to get into our sports news here. Let me bring up my notes. All right, so I'd like to start off by saying congratulations to Amy Wang on winning the women's PGA. She is the oldest majors winner since 20 to win a women's majors, and she won at the age of 34. So shout out.
Did you say Wang or Yang?
If I said Wang, I meant to say Yang. All right,
okay, no, because when you said Wang, it just made me think of Caddyshack. Hey, Wang, what's with the pictures? It's a parking lot. Come on, will you?
I likely said Wang. And if I did, I got some friends that are watching right now that are going to give me crap after the end of this live stream. Yeah.
Hey, Wang, I think this place is restricted, so don't tell them you're Jewish, okay? Fine.
Nice. So shout out to Miss Yang for winning the women's PGA. Now, over to basketball news, right?
Yes.
We have concluded.
This better be pro basketball and not WNBA, because I just went on an entire trip of Willie Mays, and I'm really happy about I did it, and I really don't want to discuss it by discussing WNBA actions this evening.
Well, I'm about to bring you down. But to start out,
go take a piss.
The Lakers have come to terms and hired former NBA player JJ Redick to co-coach with LeBron James at the Lakers.
Yeah, to basically be LeBron's puppet. Oh, that's great.
Now, there were other candidates prior to JJ Redick who ended up turning down the position, but JJ Redick did sign and go for it. Now, what I like about this is that at least LeBron James, for however he's going to be a Laker, had a really good relationship with JJ Redick too. Yes. Have you watched their podcast that they put out on YouTube?
I have not. I've seen clips of it. I do know there's a relationship to it. And let's also be quite honest here too. LeBron has played now. He is now in his 23rd year. He may actually, if he wants to, can technically break the record. He's been playing since he was 18 years old. He knows this thing, and he has spent almost a quarter century within the NBA. Really difficult to think about that. Or 21 years right now in the NBA. But that said, he knows how to go ahead and get with the players, I think, a little bit too much. Right now, LeBron's basically just puppeting JJ Redick to have JJ Redick do what he wanted to do. And as much lip service as he gave Danny Hurley was smart to turn down the Laker job, because this Laker job is essentially a 2 to 3 year job. And what do I mean by 2 to 3 years? The moment LeBron retires, if there is not an improvement, you're gone. The moment that LeBron retires and the shitty season is there, guess what? You're gone too. So I am giving JJ Redick, he's got to get some chance. And now he has a phenomenal, great coaching line that he came from, started off at Duke, played a lot of games, and I'll say this, guards, especially shooting guards and point guards, see everything on the court transform from the top of the wings. So I do think he's got the hybrid and the hubris to be a great coach, but he's going into a situation where the clear decision maker is LeBron. Nobody will admit it. Nobody will say it except for Stephen A. Smith will say it because, I got to say something stupid. But yes, we can all see that LeBron is pulling this on here. Let's be also honest here, too. How many people thought that Bronny James was supposed to be the number 1 draft pick? And now you hear within this coaching thing that in the second round with pick 55, the Lakers are going to pick Bronny James. But you heard beginning of the year he was going to be the number 1 pick in the draft.
Yep.
Don't tell me that Daddy isn't trying to keep going with that one. And let's also be honest here too. Son number 2 is entering his junior season. So let me see. No, I take that back. I believe he's entering his senior season. So we have another 2 years after that. You may get a third if Bronny can't do it, and LeBron is 2,000% dead set on being a father-son.
Absolutely. Now, know how I told you that I did have some friends that were likely going to come in and talk crap if I said the wrong word. Apparently, I did say Wang. And Jay Newman over on YouTube said, "Eat a Snickers with veins." Oh man,
it's funny. It's funny that you said Wang when you were talking about LPGA events, because I don't think any of them are supposed to have one. Oh,
David Cunningham over on Facebook said Angel Reese cooked the Fever up like stir fry today with her 20.16 rebounds, winning 88-87. LOL. That was for Coach. I did have that one and point to bring up later, but since David's already got it here in the chat, we'll just knock that one off. And Coach,
I am now going to take a piss.
I got one more thing for you, Coach. And this will be brief. Know how we talked about the WNBA player Ricky, man, I'm losing her name, but the tall California number 2. I'm trying to stall for time while I look her up. Cameron Brink ended up tearing her ACL and is going to miss the remaining of the current WNBA season. She wrote a heartfelt letter on her Instagram that said, "You never think that it's going to happen to you, and despite all the hard work, sometimes it does. Hard to fathom, but it'll only make me stronger. I will not be derailed, continue to love this life and not be defined by basketball. But it is something that I love deeply and will work every day to do it. It's not a goodbye. It's a I will see you later. I'm always thankful for your thoughts and prayers." Now, let me bring this up here. This is especially from somebody who the WNBA was going to tout, so to speak. And let me bring up the tab here. So Cameron Brinks, drafted early by the Los
Angeles still on this? Okay, good.
Is going to be injured. All right, that's all I had to say, Coach. I do want to go back to what I wanted to share about the Mind the Game podcast with LeBron James and JJ Redick. I am curious what is going to occur with this situation, because as you read here, this is presented by Uninterrupted and 342 Productions. Mind the Game is an entry into the heritage basketball minds of LeBron and JJ Redick. The two sit down weekly to discuss the state of the game, dissecting the X and O's, and wax poetic about the game. Look here. All right. Their last video was 2 weeks ago. And what's impressive, in just on name recognition alone, they have 656,000 subscribers, and they've only been, I think this channel is only 3 months old. 72 videos, 656,000 subs, and they average a really good amount of views during each of their videos. So this right here alone, assuming that their channel is my other revenue source for team and all of the employees. But I'm curious they're going to be able to keep this up, because if you look, the views are there, subscribers are there, but are they able to keep this up with the relationship of being coaching a player on the same team?
So did LeBron just basically have a problem? Dude, all right, honest to God. did this dude really go through a 3-month on the job bachelor reality style thing to come up with his next head coach for his team? Like he's
Think
the
about it.
fucking golden bachelor.
Think about
Jesus,
it.
you know what? Look,
that's
coming
not a bad move.
from the state. I'm sorry. LeBron, go make another shitty movie and get the head and retire, please. And this is the reason why nobody. This is something right here that just kills me. And let's be honest. And by the way, Allah son, yeah, okay, not a problem there, homie. Yeah, okay, great for you. But I do want to talk to seriousness. Why, when everybody says LeBron is the greatest of all time, and everybody brings up Jordan. Jordan's better, bar none, but I'm saying this right now. Jordan wouldn't be doing this prima donna horse crap right here of having a YouTube video with his coach, drafting everything with his kids, and all of this other stuff. Jordan, in fact, I found out another thing that I wanted to bring up about Jordan. But Jordan wouldn't be doing any of this stuff. Jordan would be worrying about winning the championship, not about his son playing or making content for YouTube with a potential head coach. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to say that. Now, I'll get to Danny because I've got an opinion on that one. But I want to say this about freaking LeBron. If he thinks that JJ Redick is going to be the answer and help this team win, then he doesn't know what he's talking about. And maybe he's just being too damn selfish. Just saying. Just saying. Yeah. Danny Hurley, I'm glad. Danny Hurley, on top of that, I also don't think would have taken the job because, let's be quite honest, LeBron wants a puppet. LeBron wants a puppet to be out there on the court for him. Danny Hurley is nobody's puppet. That Hurley family does not play a puppet to a player. Period. End of fucking discussion. Hey, Spanky, how you doing?
Hey, what up, Spanky? I appreciate you popping in. I liked what you said about this being a trial, so to speak. JJ Redick has no coaching experience on his resume, at least from publicly available sources, right? So to be qualified to be the head coach for the now second storied team in NBA history, because the Boston Celtics just broke the tie for most championships, right? With 18, that leaves the Lakers with 17. I mean, I don't see how you're able to interview well and have a resume of coaching coming from what he did. So I think you're onto something. I think that Mind the Game pod was a 3-month resume builder to then present to the front office of the Lakers organization to at least have him on their short list, right? He wasn't the top guy, but he was on the short list. And ultimately they chose to go with him and accepted him.
And hey, look, Redick might pull a Jason Kidd, might be, the next Steve Kerr or whatever. I don't believe. I'm pretty damn definite that, and I remember this daggone Isaiah. If I'm right, wasn't Isaiah like given an executive role for the Raptors as soon as he was gone, or somebody was done something? Guards and players going into certain franchises and being a coach or being something like that upon the retirement, it's not new. It's had a modicum of success. I would say Jason Kidd's okay, but his first coaching experience wasn't the greatest. I would say that Kerr is pretty damn successful at doing it, but I know I think he had a stint as an assistant. Mark Jackson, that was a different story because he went from analyst to TV first. But to see Redick coming off of him doing a couple things, but having been around the NBA for a while, Yeah, I could see. I'm not going to say it's an out of nowhere or an out of experience thing, but there has been some success. He's a basketball guy, he's a Duke guy, so there is some knowledge there.
Yep.
Yeah, we can't
Now,
discount it. It's not like he freaking gave, like Delonte West, a chance to head coach, something like that.
true that. True that. Now, I talked about it a little bit already, but Boston won their 18th NBA championship, breaking the tie for most championships in NBA history. All right. So, congratulations to them. They had their parade already. And what was interesting to note here, let me see if I could go back and find it in my notes. The team owner actually couldn't get through the barricades and everything that was set up for the parade. So the owner and his wife, with the championship banner and the trophy, ended up walking through your regular average person, and it took people a while to figure out that, hey, this is the Celtics owner. So then, like, now you had people wanting to take pictures and things like that, but apparently everything went smooth with that. There were some opportunities and things as like the start of where all of the official people were supposed to meet at, but they ended up having a real cool experience of being able to see the owners as they're walking through the crowd of your regular degulars to get a picture of the owners and the championship trophy.
It's about time. It's about time owners finally see their fans and interact with their fans. It would be nice to see a New York fan, a New York owner do it and not be a total douchebag like, Steinbrenner or, the Dolan or, the other douchebag owners that are around there, Woody Johnson. Fuck them all. It's nice to see owners get humbled. They need humility. They need to know where their fan base truly is. So
yeah.
Good. Happy accident. And to whatever O'Sullivan, O'Connor, or whatever Irish Mick cop who made sure that the owners had to walk through there. Great job on that one, buddy.
Hey, look, there were some people that I think that Boston got it right with that, and Coach Joe Mazzulla ended up when after the parade, there was a private party down in Florida, right? Because you can't throw a wicked party in Boston, right? You got to go where the party's at. And then they came back to Boston for some more celebrations this past Wednesday. And old Coach Joe had the trophy with him and was on people to come up and touch the trophy and everything like that. And there's a quote from Celtics fan Jason Hawkins. He told Boston's ABC affiliate WCVB that I drove all the way from Ohio because they were going to come for the parade. And I got the opportunity to touch the trophy, and I got a video of that as well. So shout out to the Boston for recognizing that they wouldn't be nothing marketing wise without the fans and things like that, and they were able to throw a party without there weren't any shootings, didn't hear any violent things that had occurred. So and I, you know what, I ain't gonna say that last line, but they were able to celebrate in Boston without anything blowing up. I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have.
Nah. You're good. You're good, man.
Let's see. What else do we have?
Hey, by the way, I do believe we were correct on the 5-game series. I was also correct on Brown winning the MVP.
Yep.
So rather happy about that, but we were definitely both incorrect on that Stanley Cup playoffs. I can't believe that game's happening. Game 7 tomorrow night.
Are you reading my mind, Coach? That's what's next. So in hockey news, the Edmonton Oilers have pushed the Florida Panthers to Game 7 after being down 0-3 in the series. When you take a look at what the score was, the Edmonton Oilers have found both on defense after only putting up 7 total points in the first 3 games, in which Game 1 they laid a goose egg. They won 8-1 at home against the Panthers in Game 4. On game 5, back in Florida, the Edmonton Oilers won 5-3. And on game 6, which was 2 days ago, the Oilers won 5-1. Now, a lot of people, including the odds makers, did not see this coming. What do you think about game 7, and who do you have winning the Stanley Cup?
So with this entire run and with how everything has been regarding the Stanley Cup playoffs, you got to realize that as I have been doing this, it came back to 1994. And I keep coming back to the last year the Rangers won the Stanley Cup. And in 1994, game 3, it ended 3-0 Rangers, thinking an entire sweep in game 4 would be fine. Well, game 4, they were away in Vancouver, didn't win it. It was a screwy game on that. Game 5, they thought they were going to win at home. They came in overconfident and they got blown out. Game 6 was going to be a wash whatsoever because, on a cross-country trip, with this one being in Miami, going all the way up to Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, is the longest distance in any playoff championship to travel to and from. This is why that daggone series is taking so long, because they literally had to go the next day from Miami to fucking Vancouver to a damn hockey town that was absolutely nuts. I mean, for crying out loud, you got women showing their boobs over there in the fields and everything, in the stands up there in Edmonton. They were not going to win game 6. But back in 94, game 7 was back at home at Madison Square Garden. Florida, 94, they're going back home. They are now in that desperation. Florida was a great team during the regular season, and I did think that if that was the only team I really did not want the Rangers to go up against. Well, it ended up happening, and then they won. But that being said, Florida Panthers have not won a Stanley Cup since their existence. For over 30 years, they haven't. Canada has not won a Stanley Cup since 1993. Now, by the way, Florida was in the Stanley Cup championship, I think, in 1995, their second year, 96, something like that, the second or third year of existence. But that being said, they haven't won one. They know what's up. They're at home. They're supposed to be the best team. This was going to happen in game 7, the winner take all. I definitely see Florida pulling it out. I don't think they're going to go down 4-0 or lose 4-0. If they do, surprisingly, it will be the first time in many of our lifetimes that a championship happened like this. But this wouldn't be the first time in the NHL that happened. Did you know that?
Who was the last team?
1940. And guess what team that was? The New York Ranger team that had last won the Stanley Cup before the 1994 team. kind of circular, kind of in the way that things are going. But with the way things kind of go, I do get those 94 vibes. I mean, look, history coming back and doing the same thing. I like those nice little things. And I like to see history repeat itself in that way tomorrow evening, which I will definitely be watching.
Good deal. Now, Vegas has Florida favored to win. The current line on it is -110. Total over under is 5.5. So they're anticipating a low scoring affair, even by hockey standards, especially in this series where you've had one 8-point game, 1 7-point game, and a 9-point total game. The lowest being the first one, game 3, in which there were 3 total points scored.
But I'll say this. A 3-2 game, that would be befitting of a game 7. And I will say these Stanley Cup playoffs have been great, and I'm glad that we had. And I just saw a meme on here. It said since 2016, it's got all of those angry dragon heads. It's like Major League Baseball, NHL, football, and they're all looking at the NBA and looking at their playoffs. We had a shitty NBA playoffs again. And now we are having an absolutely exciting and hopefully a great Game 7 tomorrow evening.
Now, I believe if Vegas is going to say 5 total points, make it a 2-2 end of the regular period and win it in overtime.
Hey, nah, 3-2.
Yeah.
3-2 reg.
Current NHL overtime rules is as follows. If the game is tied after regulation, the team will play another full 20-minute period of overtime at 5-on-5 hockey. If it is once again sudden death style, the first team to score wins. If no one scores in the first OT period, the game continues into a second and a third and so on until the team scores to win it. Let's end it like that.
Yeah. It'll be all right.
Good deal. Let's see. David Cunningham said Canada hasn't won a Stanley Cup in 30 years. We highlighted that one. You followed that up with Florida needs to them Gators.
Yeah.
That would be hilarious. Now, there were some people that I want to acknowledge earlier in the building. We got Anthony Ray. I missed your chat earlier. He said, what's impressive is that Matt Rule and Nebraska is going to be in the playoffs next year. Okay. All right. Interesting. Let's see. We've got, I want to say I saw Pete. Pete pulled up over on YouTube.
Yeah, Pete's up out there.
Salute to him. We got Tim Panache. I hope I said that right in the building. I appreciate you popping in and leaving a comment here as well over on Facebook. And my lady, God Happened to Me, is in the building as well. She said, good evening. Coach, we went to the museums in downtown DC last night. We were doing the summer solstice event, and a lot of the national museums ended up staying open late. You had to have like a time ticket still to be able to get in. But let me tell you something. I'm not a museum guy. Something really cool about being at a museum at night. I was hoping to get that effect of the one movie. I think it was called like Night at the Museums or something like that.
Yeah, Night at the Museum.
Yeah, we didn't have that happen, but it was still pretty dope. We ended up going to the Air and Space Museum. It was a really good time.
Oh, no shit.
Yep. Now,
nice.
To the main event. Ding, ding, ding. I need a bell for that. I've got to really update this stream and step up the sports bar here at WTF Nation Radio. So, we have what came up from my list as the top 5 greatest, I'm just going to say, wrestling entertainment finishers. All right. Whether they are finishers or submissions, we shall see. We shall see. Now, for those of y'all that are watching live, if the live stream ends on whatever platform that you're watching it on, oops, we might have got zucked or X'd or YouTube videos, but I wanted to have an accompanying highlight video to go with these, and I think I can pull this off by doing it a certain way. All right, so there's not going to be any audio, but I am going to have accompanying video that's going to be played with each of these videos. Now, I'm going to give my order from 5 to 1 the way I like it. These are mine. Right. You can debate these. You can tell me that they shouldn't be here, but these are going to be my 5. All right, so I'm going to start off here. I'm going to hit this mute button. Okay, and we're going to go right into it. Number 5. All right. Spear. All right, the spear. So the spear is a dynamic. Hold on. Let me get this over here and get this over here. The spear is a dynamic and impactful wrestling move that involves charging at your opponent with the full momentum and driving your shoulder into their abdomen to take them down. Despite its widespread use today, the spear remains a move that can end a match in an instant, which makes the spear truly special in its versatility. It can be a pre-planned strike or a come out of nowhere move that catches your opponent completely off guard. Over the years, many legendary superstars have perfected the spear, including Bill Goldberg, Rhino, The Big Show, Batista, Edge, Roman Reigns, Charlotte Flair, Bobby Lashley, and Ricky Starks. These athletes have used the spear to deliver definitive and often match-ending blows. That is my number 5 move. Coach, what say you?
All right, I got no problem with that one. I do believe you got a good idea with that. Now, that being said, I will say that the ultimate spear started with Goldberg. Let's also be honest with why that, why that was going that way. And that had to do with the fact that he was a football player. That spear was deadly. That spear has been useful, and the way you execute the spear can be utilized and be an absolutely deadly move. Roman Reigns looks like it's bad, but look at Goldberg, for crying out loud. That motherfucker looks like he just going to straight up knock the motherfucker out. Now, some of these moves right here, like I did from Bobby Lashley, doesn't look like anything great, but then you got that spear right there from Goldberg through it. Yeah, these are great. Look at them. Boom. Goldberg fucking loved it. Goldberg was real. Goldberg, yeah. Let's see this one. Who's Goldberg in the spear? Yeah. Okay, now I don't even know what the fuck that guy was. Yeah, Goldberg spear by far the best, easily the best. He could put anybody down, and it was realistic. It truly was. Yeah. Roman Reigns, I don't know, man. His spear looks like he's hugging somebody half the time. Edge's spear had some good thwart to it because of the way he made it look like it was going to hit. And look at the way that he was up compared to Roman Reigns' spear, where it looked like he's trying to hug them right down there. Edge's spear was up to the chest because he wasn't as powerful, but it worked well. Look where Rhino was and look where Edge's spear was. That's where the impact of the difference is. So if anybody wants to have some realism, Bill Goldberg, Edge, 2 best spears. Everybody else is playing second fiddle.
All right. Very, very nice. Now, that's how I'm starting this thing off. And we're going to go right into the next one here. I've got to do some producing here, so give me a second.
Yes, I have, 4. Dave. Way too many.
Uh-oh. What did Dave say? They said, Coach, have you ever been to a WWE match? Nice.
Yes. Too many.
All right. Number 4. We are going to go with the power driver, but specifically. Oh, I need it.
Oh, no, fuck. We're going to get zucked. We're zucked. No. Can't do it on him.
Are we?
We got to get it off. Trust me. WWE does not fuck around when it comes to anything like that. So, yeah, we got to get him off.
All right.
Especially him.
If I have the steal, do you think this is going to be okay?
Oh, no, you'll be okay. Credit to World Wrestling Entertainment for it. But I will say this, that gentleman right there, anytime if I had heard the gong, we would have been fucked. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yes. If you had heard the gong of The Undertaker, it would have automatically triggered a AI WWE response on the live stream.
Okay.
My previous show had that happen.
All right. Good to know. So I was supposed to play it on muted.
That is the one person I don't fuck with if it ever came down to any type of copyrighted material was that gentleman right there.
All right. Good.
You could get away with Rock, you could get away with Stone Cold, but I definitely do not fuck with The Undertaker.
No doubt. So the power driver in itself is one of the most iconic and enduring moves in wrestling, known for its high risk and potential for serious injury if executed incorrectly. This move has seen numerous wrestlers sidelined due to mishaps, leading to periods where it was banned in major wrestling company productions. However, certain performers were given exceptions and allowed to continue using this dramatic finisher. The power driver comes in various forms, with some superstars dropping to their knees while others use a sitting position to deliver the devastating finishing blow. Among the most protected And visually striking variations is the Undertaker and Kane's Tombstone Pile Driver. This inverted version looks especially impressive when performed on smaller opponents like Shawn Michaels or giants like big ass Mark Henry. When the Brothers of
Yep.
Destruction executed a Tombstone Pile Driver inside a casket, it was nothing short of glorious.
All right, I will definitely say something about the tombstones. So do you know what happened and why the pile driver ended up getting banned? Or
But I would
the
assume somebody,
yeah.
I'd assume somebody broke their neck at some point.
Oh yes, oh yes. And it happened in 1997 in East Rutherford, New Jersey, over at that time it was the Continental Airlines Arena, which would be the Izod Center, and it was the Brendan Byrne Arena. At SummerSlam 1997, Owen Hart and Stone Cold were having a match for the Intercontinental Championship. A botched pile driver left Stone Cold with a massive stinger, was paralyzed, and a broken neck. Stone Cold Steve Austin somehow managed enough movement over the next course of 5 minutes after that pile driver, came up with a big BS finish, and then went in for immediate neck surgery, causing some issues on the restrikes. But that actually was the part with him coming back that started the Stone Cold era within WWE. After that, that move was only used by two other people, and it was a slightly different variation. And as you can see, you were looking at either Undertaker or Kane's version of it. As their version of it is on there, you will notice that the knees most of the time are on the shoulders or up near close towards the shoulders of the larger people. When they drop, their head is not placed anywhere near it. The knee braces and all of that stuff will come down first. Their shoulders will be taken care of, and their head will be between the knees. The two large professionals that could hold people up and do that move safely were the last two people to do it. Then the mood started to come back based on the ability of the wrestler. At one point, the one time that it truly did happen with a wrestler in a match, unexpected but executed perfectly, was a match with CM Punk. And CM Punk did that against John Cena, both of them phenomenal championship wrestlers, but they executed it, and people have to demonstrate it now in order to ever do a move like that because of that one incident and the possibilities of stingers and head injuries that people shouldn't be having. So there we go.
Man, all right. Number 4 on my list could have caused some actual pain out here in these wrestling streets. All
Yes.
right. Now, let me take a look at the comments before we move to my number 3. We got David Cunningham say, Coach, what about the table and the folding chair in WWE? Will that get us banned too?
No. Just like I said, that gentleman right there, especially running a video of that gentleman, is not a good idea. And I would rather not do that whatsoever.
Good
Like I
deal.
said, Rock and Stone Cold, hey, look, you can use them all you want because they have stuff outside of it. But you got to think about this. That man he had little stuff outside of WWE, but that man was with WWE from 1980 or 1990 to 2020, nearly 30 years off of 30 years he was with the WWE as a performer wrestler before retirement. Everything that he has done with wrestling is through WWE. We could use The Rock, we can use Stone Cold because of their ventures outside, especially The Rock. WWE won't give a shit. Stone Cold, you've got everything else that he's done. He's got a large enough library where it's not exclusively WWE. Undertaker, oh my God, everything. Everything, including his back records, are all owned by WWE.
Let's see. We got to ask, what about the rope jump? Is that a finisher? The rope jump?
Well, I mean, the rope, not really jumping from the rope, but like, I mean, we could go into the flying elbow like Macho Man, or the 450, or the 5-star frog splash. We can go into any of those from the top rope.
Okay. Now,
Yeah.
number 3, we've talked about them. Can you smell what The Rock is cooking? But which finisher of The Rock would you think I would list? The People's
Okay, I
Elbow
know you're gonna
or
you're
the
you're
Rock
gonna
Bottom?
list the wrong one. You're gonna list the wrong one because the people's elbow is not a finisher. It's a setup move. It always was a setup move. It was his favorite move because everybody was able to get the crowd reaction and do all that other fancy stuff, and it's got the movement. But the people's elbow was never a finisher, and it was always supposed to be a joke, but then it became a thing. The rock bottom is the Rock's finisher. So if it says the people's elbow, your list is now completely illegitimate, just like your children.
Well, I picked the Rock Bottom. Now, it was interesting
Thank
learning.
you.
It was interesting learning about the People's Elbow and how it started as a joke between The Rock
Yes.
and, was it The Undertaker?
It
It
was
was a joke
Undertaker,
between The Rock and
yes.
somebody, yeah. And I started to do a okey doke and do the People's Elbow, and then be like, nah, it's the Rock Bottom. But yes, it is the Rock Bottom.
Now I will say this. The funny thing is with the rock bottom, yeah, the rock bottom got them all on that, and it could be hit a lot of times. There's several of them that is great for doing it, but it is one of the safer yet better moves because as you look at this, that person's laying flat down on the back, and the rock is just coming down. So essentially, he's not really throwing, but he's controlling you so that you are going down completely flat backed with very little off of you. So it's a powerful looking move, but it is a move that your entire weight is not just on one part, it is on your entire back side, which evens out the weight distribution. That's something you'll learn in wrestling. You take a look at how everybody lands. Those that are professional will land flat back so that this way they have the most impact area, including their rear end, to absorb all of the give on that hardwood floor right there. Well, the padded ring right there.
Yep. And now, just as Coach said,
of course, as I say that, he's fucking nuts. Of course, Mick Foley will say something and do it fucking worse.
Yep. Now, just as Coach said, this powerful maneuver involved The Rock placing his arm across an opponent's chest, lifting them straight up in the air, and then slamming them back first into the mat with a tremendous force. Unlike other slams that involve swinging the opponent to the side, the Rock Bottom was simple. It was all about the straight lift and then the drop. And the Rock Bottom could be seen versatile as well, as we're showing here on the screen. The Rock could easily execute it on smaller opponents or manage a slightly bigger foe with a bit more effort. And he was able to use this to take down much larger wrestlers like Rikishi and,
Mm-hmm.
and his
Mark
big
Henry,
old bottom. All right. So while the People's Elbow is entertaining, it's flashy, some people would say it's not necessarily a finisher. I would argue that it could be listed as a finisher.
Yeah.
It didn't make my top 5, and the Rock Bottom stands out as one of my best WWE finishers, brought on to prominence by the Brahma Bull himself.
Damn right. I do think it was great. And I will say, too, when you look at that move, look who's making all of that movement upward. It's not The Rock. They're jumping. Look at everybody's knees. Jump. Boom. Done.
Yep. It is. Bah.
There we go. You see that? That's where I'm coming from, man. It's one of the easier moves. It's effective, and it worked real well for The Rock. And hey, I'm glad that that's on there. So we have 2 remaining. Now, the funny thing is that I can probably combine one of them, which I know will be on here, as 3 separate finishers. But I am trying to figure out if it's going to be the figure 4 or the sharpshooter, because I said there needs to be a submission in here, and there is yet to be a submission.
I am so glad that you said that. Because at number 2, I've listed the Stone Cold Stunner. All right.
Okay, now here's where we're going to have the thing, because that was on my list. But that is 3 separate. There's 3 separate moves that we can go to about this. I'll let you go, buddy.
All right. The Stone Cold Stunner. Listed on the screen, or showed on the screen here. During the Attitude Era, the sound of shattering glass in the arena would start a huge uproar of rabid fans as it signaled one thing, that someone was about to get hit with, boom, the Stone Cold Stunner. All right. The Stone Cold Stunner was Stone Cold Steve Austin television, with fans eagerly anticipating Austin delivering the stunner to anybody who crossed his path. Anyone could get the treatment, to which he would then follow it up with his signature beer drinking celebration. What made the stunner more spectacular was watching how the recipient follow up and sell the move. The Rock, Shane McMahon, Austin Theory, Triple H, Scott Hall, and Vince McMahon, which has been made a meme, are all remembered for their wild reactions to the stunner. The move typically starts with this spectacular jawbreaker. And final thing to note, there's an ongoing debate about who invented the move between Mickey Whipwreck and Michael Hayes. Regardless, Austin's stunner remains iconic and is still used today by Kevin Owens.
Now, the story I heard is Michael Hayes in 19 whatever it was, mid 90s, surprisingly, and per Stone Cold Steve Austin, in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Yes, he was at the Crown Coliseum for something, and that's when him and Michael Hayes were talking about the stunner. Now, the stunner, greatest finishing move by arguably one of the biggest wrestling wrestlers of all time for pro wrestlers. Here's the thing, though. You see, and I don't think, and for any of you all that are out there in watching this and have anything about wrestling, I am going to bring something up on here. So good. Growman and Reviews, I'm going to bring this up to you. The Stone Cold Stunner is technically and is a variation of the original Ace Cutter, done by Johnny Ace, John Laurinaitis, who, while in Japan, came up with the Ace Cutter. The Ace Cutter was modified with Michael Hayes and Stone Cold to the Stone Cold Stunner. At that same time, Mikey Whipwreck and Diamond Dallas Page had their own versions of the Ace Cutter. The Ace Cutter was then, I can't remember what Mikey Whipwreck was calling it, but more popularly known by Diamond Dallas Page as the Diamond Cutter. The Diamond Cutter has now since evolved to the person who is now using it, Randy Orton, the RKO. So, in my sense, yes, we are right. The greatest variation of that cutter has been done by Stone Cold Steve Austin as the Stone Cold Stunner. And I believe, though, that everything, and it's as sad as it is, because John Laurinaitis is an absolute queef bag of a human. John Laurinaitis came up with the Ace Cutter, and everything else devolved around him. So the RKO, the Diamond Cutter, the Stone Cold Stunner, and the Ace Cutter, all of them, to me, are the same, and all of them could be grouped together as one of the greatest finishing moves of all time, if not number one, because of how fast that move can be hit. And if it is a finisher, should be the end of the match instead of a false finish bullshit. So while I agree with you on this, I'm a little upset that unfortunately right now I don't feel that you're going to have a submission move in number one. And I am going to be a little upset because I can see what Rumen and Reviews has listed, and I would have easily taken off two of the other ones, the rock bottom being one, and the spear being the other one. I would have taken them off for another two submission moves, but I'm waiting to see what your number one is, my friend.
All right. I am going to list two honorable mentions. All right. And I'm going to have to take a second to type this up here because I wasn't ready for it. But
hey, ER Cruz. Actually, I want you to stay on with this because I'm about to bring up and completely illegitimize King on here for not having two professional wrestling moves that are amateur moves on here as well.
Yes,
so hey, let's do it. Let's just get it over with.
Hold on. Hey, ER Cruz, I did not state that for a reason. I want to come back and have an episode on your more college Olympic wrestling and things like that. But I have to get smart about it. I've watched more WWE wrestling than I've watched your NCAA wrestling, but I do want to take the opportunity and time to learn about the sport more and come back and do a top 5 for your NCAA wrestling. So I appreciate that comment. And he said I did say my bad. No. Hey, I'm just
good, brother.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, I'm saying thanks for tuning in, but I am going to do that on a stream in our near future. So if you don't watch the Sports Bar on the regular, hey man, tune in every Sunday. You never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, I'm about. Don't worry about it, ER Cruz. I'm about to shit on him.
Okay, so whatever to this one, and that's okay. He was just one of my favorite people. My honorable mention is the Razor's Edge. All right, I just like
to say, man, when Razor Ramon did put you into that crucifix suplex is what it's called. But you know, have you noticed that nobody else ever does that move anymore? That move was smooth as butter and it looked great going down. Okay, I will give you a Razor's Edge as that. And rest in peace, Scott Hall. He is no longer with us, but that was a great move by him.
Razor Ramon. I like this accent. I liked everything about him, man.
Yeah.
David Cunningham said, what about Triple H's signature move, the pedigree? That would have made top 10, but it is not my number one. The other honorable mention, when I say this, Coach is going to lose his shit. But this would have been 6. The Razor's Edge is 7. Number 6, if I was doing like a top 10, the Sharpshooter. It didn't make number 1, Coach. It's my 6.
Okay, no, because now I know it's the DDT at number 1. But I'm upset because the figure 4 leg lock, the first wrestling move and submission that everybody did on their brothers, everybody did. That should be number 1. The one, the only, Mr. Ric Flair, and everybody now uses that move as part of their repertoire. But it was the greatest finishing move ever, Ric Flair, and I think the sharp man, to me, yep, okay, let's see it, man.
So you said that my number 1 was going to be the DDT?
Yep, I did.
You know what? Instead of putting it up on the screen and then showing the video, I'm just going to show the video. Give me a second to bring this up. My number 1, if you're somebody that is on social media, such as I am, this move here has been on TikTok. There has been several follow-up videos made after it where people have done it on their children. People have done it on their grandmas. It's been done in the pool, and it is the RKO out of nowhere.
Oh, you see. Okay. Wait a minute. Now you have to realize we are in a debate. I said to me the number one move was the stunner. If I was not going to count the stunner, the RKO, the diamond cutter, and the ace cutter together, and was saying greatest moves can be hit out of nowhere as a finisher, number 2 on my list would be the RKO. But I'm going to give you a little bit of a reprieve. Your honorable mention, your number 6, technically is number 5. Because as I combine the RKO and the stunner together as quasi the same move, just a different way of delivering it, much in the same way the tombstone pile driver versus the pile driver is being delivered. At that point, you have the sharpshooter in number 5. Like I said, the rock bottom and the spear. But I will say that you did have the sharpshooter in there, so I'm not going to shit on your list.
Now, the RKO, which is the Randy knockout for those that are uninitiated in wrestling, known by various other names over the years, such as the Ace Crusher, and as Coach said, the Diamond Cutter. The RKO is executed when the superstar leaps towards their opponent, grabbing them in a 3/4 face lock while parallel to the ground. The move results in the user into the mat. Randy Orton's version, which is shown here on the screen, of this cutter went viral beyond just wrestling due to the hilarious RKO out of nowhere meme trend. I wish I could play the audio, but I'm pretty sure that would get us zucked. The RKO is incredibly versatile, capable of being performed at any time in numerous ways, to include jumping off the top rope, a springboard item from the second rope, or just running in a full speed sprint. And then, correction, one of the most memorable RKOs is the one that caught Evan Bourne midair as he attempted a shooting star press compilation reels.
Yes. Now, I think the best one that I ever saw that he did, I did see that one where he was doing the shooting star press, which is which is basically an inverse 270. But what he did, it was against him, Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins was going up for a curb stomp, and it was one of the, but because Rollins ended up winning the championship that night. I don't remember it, but yeah, that match started off with the Randy Orton hitting that RKO, just phenomenal. And but like I said, man, I combined the stunner and the cutters all together, so that to me, you do have a legitimate top 5. So I say this, okay, about the spear. The spear looks devastating. The spear looks nothing but a simple tackle. Same thing with the rock bottom, right? Oh, thanks, Grumman and Reviews. Yeah, WrestleMania 31. That was the year. So think about the simplicity of all of those moves right there. Okay? Simplicity of every single one of those moves that you just listed right there. None of them needed a setup. None of them needed that. They just needed to be in the right position in order to execute it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I will say this all except for one. Take a look at the Stone Cold Stunner. That is the only move that needed a prep move in order to be executed. So, let me ask you this. We do have the spear right there, and I'm going to ask that one out on Pete. What about the jackhammer? What do you think, King? What about the jackhammer? Because that was actually Goldberg's finishing move. There's that RKO. There's that fucking RKO. Yeah, that one right there. That one was fucking nuts.
So I go back to it.
There. Boom. That was nuts. That was nuts.
Yo.
That was the nuts one. Yeah. So I got you on that. But hey, King, do me a favor real fast. I do have to take something out real fast. Okay, buddy. I'm sorry. Oh, there's okay. Yeah, give me a minute. I gotta go off of the air for a second.
All right. So grooming, I did ask if you were able to come up if you wanted to shit on my top 5 list, or maybe add or give what you would have given as your top 5 list. If you are able to join, let me know. I will send you the link in Facebook Messenger, man, and you can come on and quickly, because we're about to end the show and the live stream tonight, quickly give your top 5 or what you think about my top 5. I will check the chat here, see if you but to do a recap, my top 5 favorite W wrestling entertainment finishers. Number 5 was the spear. Number 4 was the pile driver, specifically tombstones. I'm sorry, the Undertaker's pile driver. 2 was the Stone Cold Stunner, and number 1 is the RKO by Mr. Randy Orton himself. Grooming Reviews put up a question mark. I'm asking if you have the ability to join. If so, I can send you the link in your area. We can do that. All right.
Hey, sorry about that.
It's all good. I'm going to send Grooming the link here and see if he's able to join us. And if he is, and give his take real quick.
Can we do next week? Well, actually, hey, Grooming and Reviews next week. We're actually going to be hosting a trivia night, and definitely want you to get involved on that one. That will be starting.
All right, so let's do this. Do I want to do this angle? Do I want to close out with this?
I don't know. Why am I on this side? What the hell? That's the other side. There we go. Yeah, we're back at the same spot. What the hell?
So, Coach, I gave my recap of my top 5. You've listed how you would have combined some things. If you would have gone straight up submission and or move finishers, what would have been your top 5 real quick? And then we'll close the show with David Cunningham.
5-figure 4. 4 would be the 4 would end up being the rock bottom. 3 would be the figure that would be the sharpshooter. 2 spear, and actually 2. Well, see, if I'm going combo on this one, I would actually put spear jackhammer as one of the best ones, because jackhammer needs to be up in there. I would actually say jackhammer would be my 6, but spear 2 and stunner cutter 1.
Okay. All right. The ones that you mentioned, as I was taking a look at a list and just kind of picking out the ones that were memorable for me.
Yeah.
All of the ones that you listed were ones that made my list. Like if I would have gone to top 10, we would have had at least the 5 that you mentioned would have been in my top 10 list. So
yeah, and and one of them that was an effective one, but now is like done as just a normal move. It is the super kick with Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels was able to do a phenomenal kick, and it would go right to he called it sweet chin music.
Sweet chin music.
Yeah, and I would tell you that his kick was a great finishing move, but has been now utilized by everybody, much like the DDT, that that every move has now become just a normal move. But when Shawn Michaels did it, it was good. It was you know how like it is funny. Nobody else has done. I don't remember another wrestler really doing that razor's edge after Razor Ramon. And it took a long time for a lot of people to even be able to do a stunner, and it was only one other person that does it. But it has been a very long time. It was like, you know, how I don't even know how long it was, the time period between, you know, the other move right there. And that's something that but you see that there's like very limited. Nobody's used the razor's edge, but everybody now uses the super.
Yep, it is
move respected, but then certain moves are copied ad nauseum.
Yep, it is considered the most commonly used signature moves to date, and that's why I didn't want to list it. Right,
Yeah.
like I considered it, but it's so common you really can't. Like if you want to say super kick, or if you want to go specifically to sweet chin music, if you
Yeah.
say that, then you know you're talking about Shawn
But
Michaels.
and you know, here's another one that was always pretty believable. There was a guy, JBL, John Bradshaw Layfield. His was the clothesline from hell. It was a mess, but his clothesline looked believable as you would take your head off. And this guy was also like a big douche, so I'm pretty sure it would have happened that way.
No
But that
doubt.
being said, his clothesline from hell was just a simple regular move, but it was used effectively.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, there is some things where if something is absolutely used by somebody else, it has to have something special to it. So, Shawn Michaels' super kick may not have as much special as somebody else's, you know, but JBL's clothesline from hell has definitely a lot more than somebody's regular clothesline. You see where I'm getting at?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I agree.
Yeah, like a Goldberg spear versus a Roman Reigns spear.
Mm-hmm. Now, that's the end of our show. David Cunningham, we are going to make 2 quick announcements and then we're going to close out the show. We always like to close out with David Cunningham's words of encouragement or whatever he decides to post up there. So while David, who's already hit the it's in button, types this out, 2 announcements. Tune in to Tuesday's Pop Culture Warrior show. He is doing one of our station's biggest and best giveaways to date, but there's going to be very specific things that you're going to have to do. So when it gets announced on Tuesday, all right, if you missed Pop Culture Warriors live stream, check out his Twitter or his Instagram where he will have the written short version of what you need to do to be able to enter it. I got a behind the scenes look because him and I were talking shop today, and I know what the items are. All right. Well, I have an idea of what the items are because they're all sealed right now. But he's going to unseal them live. And when I tell y'all that the value of these gifts aren't just something that you could get from a Dollar Tree store, these are fantastic things around the pop culture realm. We're going to promote it heavy. So tune in this Tuesday as you have to understand the rules for this giveaway and how it's going to be executed. Also, next Sunday, our first ever The Sports Bar sports trivia.
Yes, I already have the questions lined up, and I would love to give you a view of what exactly I've got lined up. This is some it's going to be either freaking nuts or it's going to be completely diabolical.
Okay, so we're going to try to market this as well. We could have, you said, a max of 20 people.
Yeah, 20 people.
Okay, so there'll be a max of 20 people. There's already been some names that they said, hey, I'd love to come in and join. You will be one of those people. All right. So with that being said, make sure that you tune in next weekend. It'll be the last live show as I'm going to call it the holiday Sunday. So July the 7th, I'm going to be traveling. So we will not have a sports bar live stream on Sunday, July the 7th. Is the Sunday after the 4th. And then we'll come back on the 14th for a live stream. But come back next week, our first ever sports trivia. I might even come up with something for our winners. We'll see. I don't know.
Oh yeah, you're gonna love this thing, man. When I show you this thing right after we're done, you're gonna laugh your ass off at this, man.
No doubt. Now we can officially end the show with David's words. He said, "Great show today, King and Coach. Sports fans, be good to one another. Get out there and make a difference by spreading your awesomeness with a capital A. See you next Sunday on the Sports Bar. Stay safe and have a great week. I love it. It's literally one of my favorite things is to end the show on some positivity like that. And with David's words, as long as he's here for the live, this is how we're going to always end our show. So from Coach and I to everybody out there, I give you a salute. We will see y'all next Sunday. Peace.
Peace.